Texas A&M quarterback commit Husan Longstreet gets his 5th star. What does this mean for the Aggies?
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the baseball game in segment 3, preview the Tennessee game. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the updated 247 Sports class rankings. 247 Sports went ahead, they changed their rankings. They updated. Some players moved up, some players moved down, some players stayed around the same. And most importantly, the first thing that needs to be discussed is Texas A&M's quarterback of the future, Husan Longstreet, just received his 5th star. So he is officially ranked as the 28th best player in the 2025 class, according to 247 Sports. He is the 4th quarterback. He is the number 1 player in California, which is impressive. I mean, California is one of the best states when it comes to producing high school football talent, and your quarterback is the number 1 guy. We'll take that. In the composite rankings, the difference here, where Longstreet is a 5 stars on 247 Sports, which is the rankings that I like the most. Now, there are sometimes players that they're going to have ranked a little lower that I might disagree with, and we're going to go through some of that. But in the composite rankings, which is all of them together, ESPN, Rivals, On3, Longstreet is ranked 39th, the 5th quarterback, and the 2nd best player in California. So regardless, he's an elite player. But yeah, on 247 Sports, he now officially has his 5th star. And what does this mean optically for Texas A&M? And I'll tell you, to me, what this means is Coach Elko, in his first genuine recruiting class, has a 5-star quarterback. That is a big deal. Like, the concern with Coach Elko for me was, okay, I believe in the X's and the O's. I believe he can coach. Can he recruit like Jimbo Fisher did? And so far, he has recruited at an extremely high level. I think he did a great job closing out the 2024 class. He did a great job going to get some players that we weren't really expecting. He did a great job holding on to some guys like a Terry Bussey. He did a great job with all that. And now it's his turn when it comes to his first official class, the 25 class, and he is knocking it out of the ballpark. You got a 5-star quarterback. That is all you can ask for. So rankings aren't everything. We've seen 5 stars be busts. We've seen 2-star quarterbacks turn into NFL stars. This is just how it goes. But here's the deal. Longstreet is a really solid player. Brian Smith, our Locked On recruiting expert, likes him. He texted me. He saw him at a camp the other day where he didn't look the best, but I think Brian's concerned long term. Longstreet's going to be a great player. Really excited to see him in a Texas A&M uniform. And I'm serious. I just think the optics of this, they might not seem huge, but Coach Elko landing a 5-star quarterback in his first class as Texas A&M's head coach is so important. It just is. It just having a guy like this. I don't think people fully understand the magnitude of this. Like, in his first class, he's going to have a 5-star quarterback. That is huge. So something to remember, something to be excited about. On 247 Sports, Husan Longstreet officially has his 5th star. So now we're going to run through the rest of the 2025 recruiting class, talk about where these players are ranked in the updated rankings. So the cornerback, Cody Sellers, who is the most recent Texas A&M commit, he's ranked 134th in these updated rankings. I believe he's a guy who took a pretty big jump So for not huge, but a little bit of a jump. Ranked 134th, 16th best player at his position. Then you've got Jamar Beal Goins, who is the guy. He took another huge jump. He's all the way up to 181, 21st in position rankings for corners. The kid from Arizona, the number one player in the state of Arizona. So you have two top 200 corners right there. We talk about the secondary, and okay, this year you had to go get a whole bunch of guys in the portal. You had to get your roster right with portal additions. Well, this year you are going to be very much in a good spot when it comes to landing corners. And then, listen, DeJohn Petaway, your next corner in this class, is ranked 244th. So you've got three top 300. Man, you have three top 250 recruits at the cornerback position. That's how you fix a position long-term where you're a little bit concerned, knowing that you still have Terry Bussey in this class. I mean, the cornerback room is going to be filled with high 4-star talent in the future, to where I don't think you need everything you went and got when it comes to corners in the portal like you did this go-round. Coach Elko obviously had to do that based on what was on the roster, and he didn't want to have a ton of freshmen out there. But I think the position long-term is in a really, really good spot thanks to these additions. So the next guy I want to talk about is DeAndre Ryden, the running back. So 247 Sports, like I said, there's some guys that I agree with their ranking, some guys I disagree. This is a player I disagree. He's ranked the 17th running back, and he doesn't even have a ranking when it comes to the 247 Sports. They just have listed at 17th running back, but then he's 249th player in the composite rankings. That is where I expect him to end up. That is the type of player I expect him to be. It's 249th. And he's going to be a really good running back for the Aggies. I think he's a player. I still think he's a little bit underrated when it comes to these rankings and stars and all that. I think he's a really good player, and he's eventually going to be ranked higher than he is. A big senior season will do that for you as well. Then you got Jonte Newman, who's ranked as the 17th. This is weird. So I'm pretty sure Jonte Newman is going to be a tackle. 6'4", 275. I mean, I think he's going to get that frame to 6'5", 310, whatever. It looks like he's got long arms. I mean, he's listed as a tackle like here, but then when you click on him, he's ranked as an interior offensive lineman. I don't really know what they're doing there. I talked about this when he committed. But, yeah, I think that he's ranked as the 17th interior offensive lineman, but he's ranked 344th in composite as a tackle. I think he's going to be a tackle, but we'll have to see. He's got that frame right now where he could go either way. He could go get big and play guard way, or he can go maybe grow a couple inches and play tackle. So he can go either way. Marcus Garcia is ranked as the 28th offensive tackle and the 366th player in the composite rankings. So other services like Garcia more than 247 Sports. Then you've got Landon Rank, who this is a weird one. He's ranked as once again, these players that I'm listing now don't have like rankings for 247 Sports. It just has the ranked, 36th tackle, 45th receiver. It's kind of like that. And Rink is listed as the 46th defensive lineman, but then 278 in the composite rankings. A lot of other services have him high. I'm a huge Landon Rink guy. I don't understand this ranking. I think that he's going to be a guy who is a high 4-star when it's all said and done. Then you have the offensive lineman, Connor Carty, the interior offensive lineman, who's ranked as the 29th interior offensive lineman and 408th in the composite rankings. So, he's a guy that interior offensive linemen, genuine interior offensive linemen, never are ranked that high in these rankings. That's just the reality, just how it works. So I think this is a ranking where you're going to see him probably around here, and he's going to be a really good player, and I'm not concerned about it. Then you got Kelvin Riggins, and this is a weird one to me. He's ranked as the 72nd linebacker in the 200 on 247 Sports, and then the 236th in composite. 247 Sports, like I said, they are my favorite. They are wrong on this one. He's going to be a really good player. He needs to be a top 300 recruit all around. I do not get what they're doing there. And then lastly, you got Joshua Moses, the interior offensive lineman, who's ranked as the 67th interior offensive lineman and the 822nd player in the composite rankings. He hasn't really moved up much. A guy who, just an upside offensive lineman who could be good, and that's what he is. And I think that he's going to be fine, and I'm not too concerned about rankings for him. He is an upside play. So that is where the class currently ranks for the Aggies. It is 10th overall and 5th in the SEC. You got to be pretty stoked about recruiting right now for the Aggies. Speaking highly of Coach Elko, CBS Sports put out a list ranking all of the Power 4 head coaches. Where does Coach Elko end up on that list? That's going to be the conversation coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or are looking for the extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They are the number one finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. For a comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every investor, yahoofinance.com, the number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. Of course, that's yahoofinance.com. So, this was an interesting article, a really, really interesting article that CBS Sports wrote, ranking every Power 4 head football coach, which is just, what a fun concept. So, where was Coach Elko ranked? He was ranked 32nd on this list. 32nd on this list. Let's read what they had to say about Coach Elko and the reasoning for having him here. A step up in job in our rankings for Elko. It's easy to figure out why. People will notice anytime you win 16 games over 2 seasons at Duke and go 9-7 in conference play, all while missing your starting quarterback for a chunk of a season. The ones in College Station certainly did, as Elko has been tabbed to replace Jimbo Fisher. The good news is Elko is familiar with life as an Aggie thanks to 4 seasons as a defensive coordinator with the program, but the pressure is a bit different when you're the head coach, no question. So, of course, these rankings are from last year to this year. Of course, Coach Elko was last year he was Power 5 coach, now he's Power 4 coach, thanks to the Pac-12. But last year he was ranked 44th. Now he's moved up to 32nd. So from last year at Duke to this year at Texas A&M, he has moved up 12 spots in these rankings. And listen, I think that Coach Elko is incredibly deserving of these rankings. So and a place where I justified this, I had a huge long episode grading Coach Elko's performance thus far. Probably about 4 weeks ago on a Friday. Everything that Coach Elko's done, he deserves an A. He deserves a really high grade for what he's done. Listen, when it comes to hiring a coaching staff, he's done an incredible job. We all feel great about this coaching staff. A there. He's done an incredible job in the transfer portal. Every time this roster has needed something, in the previous window, you needed corners, you needed safeties. What does he do? He goes and gets a handful of them. You need a couple offensive linemen, he goes and gets them. You need a receiver, he goes and gets a couple. Obviously, Jabari Barber getting hurt, but you go and get them. Okay, then, you need a receiver in this window, you go get Bostic. You need a linebacker because Alex Howard leaves, you go get the Shields. He has used the portal exactly how the portal is meant to be used. You are filling holes on your roster. You're not. There's multiple ways you can use the portal. And then, if you want to talk about an upside play, Des Ricks. Maybe Des Ricks doesn't play this year, but he has a ton of upside. There are different types of plays in the portal. There's upside plays. There's veteran one-year players who are just going to help your roster a little bit. There are true necessities, couple-year players. There's lots of different things you can do in the transfer portal, and I think Coach Elko has used it absolutely perfectly. He's done everything he's needed to do in the portal to make sure that he's putting himself in a spot to succeed this year. So portal. And then the last important part is high school recruiting. We just got done discussing it. He did an incredible job finishing out the 2024 class, holding on to Terry Bussey, once again, going to get some players that we weren't expecting, like a Kendall Jackson. Like players like that, doing a Solomon, like going to get those players that were under the radar. We didn't really hear about it until it was like, oh man, Coach Elko's after this 4-star defensive lineman. He's going to get this 4-star receiver. And you go, man, look at Coach Elko go. He's just going to get these 4-star players out of nowhere. And, I think that's why he did a great job closing out that class, holding on to players, going to get new players we weren't expecting. And then this year, he's done an incredible job going to get highly ranked guys. Once again, he has a 5-star quarterback right now. I mean, everything you could want high school recruiting wise, Coach Elko's done. He has his class sitting 10th in all college football right now, 5th in the SEC when it comes to the 2025 class. I mean, he's just doing everything that you would want your coach to do on the high school recruiting trail. So coaching hires hit out of the ballpark. Transfer portal hit out of the ballpark. High school recruiting thus far hit out of the ballpark. He's done an incredible job on all those fronts. So now, once again, he has not coached a football game as head coach at Texas A&M. It's going to come down to, can you put it all together? And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to winning football games, X's and O's, that is ironically one of my least concerns when it came to Coach Elko. I did not think he was going to have issues coming in here and being a really good coach when it comes to X's and O's and stuff like that. So, I'm not worried about what he's going to do on the field production wise. I think he's going to win football games. I'm not super concerned about that. I'm just not. So, if Coach Elko comes in and once again, you want to talk about how does he improve on this ranking from last year to this year? You go 8-4 or 9-3, you win a bowl game, and you make this recruiting class top 12, top 10, top 8. I don't see how he's not ranked in the top 20. I mean, and that is very obtainable for Coach Elko based on the fact that we've discussed time and time again how manageable the schedule is for the Aggies this year. If he wins that many football games, you can't not move him up high. It's just reality. Now, I know that he's gotten a super, super favorable schedule for his first season as Texas A&M's head coach. But here's the deal. He didn't make it. It's not up to him. It's not like Coach Elko was like, yeah, give me a super easy one. It's my first year. Well, it's not how it shaped out. Coach Elko was just fortunate to get a very manageable schedule, and he's done a great job with it. I mean, he's going to do a great job with it. I think that I really do think that he's going to win. I think he's going to win 8 football games in a worst case scenario situation. So I think if you do that, if you win 8 football games, people are going to be singing his praises. I think if you win 9, people are going to be going, oh man, the tide is turning in Aggie land. I mean, things are really turning around. This program is in a really good spot. And I think you're going to see that become a reality. So some might say 32 is maybe too high for a guy we haven't seen so far in the SEC. We've just seen him as Duke's head coach. I would say I disagree with you. I think that this is the perfect place to have Coach Elko ranked. I think he's deserving of it. I think he's done a great job since he's been here at Texas A&M, and I think he's got a legitimate chance to move up in these rankings if he does good in the offseason, continues to do well in the offseason, and if he does well on the field. So, yes, I am all in on Coach Elko deserving this 32nd overall ranking. He's above Hugh Freeze, and he's above a couple of other head coaches in the SEC, and I think he deserves to be there, and I think he's going to prove why this year on the field. The Aggies lose to Mississippi State in the SEC baseball tournament. Do we care? Are we concerned? What happened? next matchup. We're going to run through all that coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. So, bets going on right now. Are the Mavs going to win it all? Luka Doncic, he's playing through injuries. He's playing like the best player in the NBA. He was incredible last night, 3 points. I mean, he's banged up and he's playing great basketball. Are they going to win it all? Only 4 teams left. Go put your money where your mouth is. Put some money on the Mavs to bring it home. Be cool to see. Well, I'm a huge Luka fan. Love the way he's playing through these injuries and fighting for his team. Go put your money where your mouth is and put it all on the Mavs to win the NBA championship. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So the Aggies lose to the Mississippi State Bulldogs 5-3, evening the season series 2-2. Mississippi State was the 5 seed. Texas A&M was the 4 seed. It was a good game. They score a couple runs in the 9th. Mississippi State does to end up winning this game 5-3. You didn't get a ton of hits. 5 total hits. Camarillo was 2 for 3. It was one of those games where it was a back and forth game early. Mississippi State went out to a quick 3-1 lead. You score a couple tied up from a great hit that from shot that really, got you back in the ball game. Double. And then Cortez comes in, which showed you, hey, they want to win this baseball game. Cortez comes in. He looks really good. Looks really good for 2 innings. Just dominant. I mean, he's hitting spots. Watching Cortez pitch, and I know those of y'all former baseball players out there, former pitchers, are going to be right there with me on this. But watching him pitch can be frustrating at times because it's like, man, I wish I could just throw the ball wherever in the world I want to and get swings and misses. But when you throw 100 miles per hour, that's what happens. So he looked really good. He got killed by a couple unearned runs in the 9th, a couple hit by pitches, didn't help you get there. So once again, winning the SEC tournament, it's like, great. That's great. If you win the SEC tournament, it's cool. That's awesome. Like, you would love to do that. I'm not saying, oh, who cares? I'm not saying that. But I am saying I don't care about the SEC tournament at all when it comes to the postseason comparative to the NCAA tournament. I mean, you're in a spot where you're more than likely going to be hosting for sure a regional, and then more, 99.9% a super regional. You're not going to have to leave your home until Omaha. So, I look at this and I say, no, I'm all in on that. I'm not super concerned long-term with the SEC tournament. Winning it'd be great. Winning a game here would be great. But at the end of the day, I don't think it matters as much as some people might. It's fun to win, but it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, it mattered for Texas A&M and Nashville for basketball because you had to be able to get to the March Madness. It's not quite like that. I just don't think it matters. And listen, who all's lost? Kentucky, Arkansas, and then Tennessee. This is the good teams are losing. It's a trend. I don't know why. I don't know if these teams aren't motivated. I wouldn't go as far as to say they're not motivated, but it's a trend. You're seeing the good teams not win in Hoover. So, call it a trend, whatever it is. The good teams have not shown up in the tournament, and it's just part of it. So the Aggies are going to play Tennessee today. It'll be an early game. It'll be a little, hey, you're at work, you can watch the ball game, be fun. But early game, if you want to stay alive here in Hoover, you got to win this one against the Tennessee Volunteers. So we will pay attention to that. But once again, we're really excited for the selection show and all of that. That's going to be a ton of fun coming up on the 27th. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank you all so much for being here every single day. I really, really do appreciate it. Hope everybody has an outstanding rest of their Thursday. Friday's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost here, and we will see you on Friday.